Is Canva the best generative AI platform that no one's talking about? We've spent the last couple of months saying, wait until this platform adds photo, or wait until this platform is multimodal and adds video. Canva's already got almost all of it. But why aren't we talking about it or using it very much? We're going to tackle that and more today on Everyday AI. This is your daily live stream podcast and free daily newsletter, helping everyday people like me and you learn and actually leverage AI. So I'm actually extremely excited for today's episode. So make sure to check the show notes. We did a precursor to Canva last week. We knew they were announcing a lot of big features with their new AI Magic Studio. So we gave you a baseline. So make sure, if you haven't already, go back, watch that, listen to that. It's in the show notes. But before we get into that, let's first talk, as we always do, AI news. And again, if you are joining us live, this is a live stream. Thank you. Let me know right now, what are your biggest questions when it comes to generative AI in Canva? Are you using it? Why aren't you using it? Let me know, and we'll talk about it. But let's talk about AI news. So one of the original pioneers of AI technology says he fears it could take over humanity. All right, let's explain. So Geoffrey Hinton, who is commonly referred to as the godfather of AI, dished on his concerns on an exclusive sit down with 60 Minutes last night. Hinton obviously spent a decade leading AI development at Google, but in the interview, Hinton laid out some pretty grave concerns. So he cited, some unintended consequences of AI and misuse, including fake news, bias in employment, and autonomous robots used in war. And he also stated very bluntly that humans don't know what they're doing when it comes to generative AI. So pretty grave concerns there, coming from one of the most recognizable names in generative AI over the last couple of decades. All right, there is more chip news. So speaking of all this generative AI, it all needs these GPU chips. These GPU chips are what powers all this generative AI development, and supply is low, which means price is high because demand is high. So we reported last week that OpenAI is apparently getting into the chip game to rival NVIDIA, which has the overwhelming market share right now. But a recent report sheds new details on Microsoft's plan, yes, Microsoft, for its own GPU chips to power all of these Gen AI systems. So Microsoft has been developing right now the codenamed Athena AI chip to rival NVIDIA's H100 GPU, which is kind of the industry standard right now. The Athena chip, not sure if that is going to be the eventual name, but the code project name, Athena chip, is expected to be unveiled at the Ignite Developer Conference in November. All right, our last news item of the day. AI isn't taking all of our jobs, especially not if you're a celebrity. My gosh. All right, so we've seen these. We shared about it in the newsletter, talked about it on the show before, but the Meta platform has released its AI assistant feature, which essentially uses celebrities' likenesses to create chatbots with different personalities that you can interact with across Meta's different platforms, Facebook, Instagram. I believe it's available on WhatsApp as well. So we've seen celebrities like Snoop Dogg, Tom Brady, Kendall Jenner, and Mr. Beast among the stars who are portraying these Meta smart assistants. We didn't know how much money they were getting until a recent report now, but allegedly many of these celebrities are receiving more than $1 million, and one reportedly received $5 million just for the 6 hours of work it took to get this up and running. Wow. I don't know. Hey, Meta, do you want to create a Jordan AI? I will gladly do these 6 hours for $1 million. You know what? I'll even do it for a little less. All right. So, but you didn't come here to banter about the AI news, or maybe you did, but thank you everyone for joining us. And let's talk about Canva's AI. And I want to know for those of you joining live, and thanks, by the way. Brian says greetings from a chilly Gulf Coast. Yeah, it's a little cold. Michael, thank you for joining us. Happy Monday. Michael's asking, what are y'all using for AI today? A little of everything. Peter saying best show ever. Thank you, Peter. All right. So, and George Strom says, what's up? Been missing the live. Shout out, George. All right. So let's talk a little bit about Canva AI. Okay. And before we jump in, and if you are joining us on the podcast, this might be one of those. Click the show notes. It's going to be a rather visual show, but I'm going to try to do my best to explain everything first. So a lot of Canva's AI features are not new. They've been out now for a couple of months as the giant design platform. Canva has been testing them, but they did in their announcement last week announce a lot of new features that were not available, and we're going to go over those a little bit. But first, even before we get there, I want to talk big picture, right? Uh, because when ChatGPT was first released by OpenAI in late November of 2022, and we saw this race, right? We saw everyone rush to ChatGPT. Um, and then, kind of the hype cycle, so to speak, kind of stopped, I think a couple of months ago. I think people, went into ChatGPT. They're using plugins. So shout out if you're using plugins, you should. My gosh. Uh, ChatGPT plugins are amazingly powerful. And it's something we teach in our free Prime Prompt Polish course. If you want to access that, as always, just leave a comment with PPP. But after that, I think the hype kind of died down surrounding ChatGPT. And now, over the last couple of months, I feel it's like, okay, what's next? Hey, is Google Bard going to get better? Are we going to see Google Gemini? The new large language model to make Google Bard better. We've seen developments in Cloud Anthropic, or the Cloud 2 model from Anthropic. We've been talking about on the show, even I'm very excited about Microsoft Copilot, which is rolling out, Microsoft 365 Copilot, which has been rolling out, already across the Windows system, but the big release is coming in November. But no one's been talking about Canva, and I'm wondering why not. Canva reportedly has 135 million users, right? Which, it was the talk of the town once ChatGPT obviously went from, 0 to 100 million pretty quick. But Canva has 135 million users. That's the last figure I could see. And also, according to reports, more than 85% of the world's 500 largest companies use Canva. And if you're not using Canva, let me just go ahead and put this out there. I've been using Adobe Photoshop since, I'm trying to do the math here, probably since about 2003 or 2004. So almost 20 years. And, Canva is a great all-in-one design suite platform that, I think it's been around now for almost a decade, I believe. And when Canva first came out, I was starstruck. Even with my background working in newspapers and designing newspapers on these very old systems, Quark Express. What Canva can do as a design platform. It's not just for designing a flyer, right? You can literally do just about anything in Canva. A lot of even what you see out of everyday AI are, our show previews, our covers for, podcast episode. That's all done in Canva. But I think Canva's, some of these new features that they announced, I think are really helping us reimagine what Canva can be as a generative AI platform, right? It's not just something you go into to design a flyer, right? So, and we obviously have to talk about Adobe as well, because Adobe has their kind of conference this week, I believe, and they'll be announcing some things, I think, aimed at Canva. So to get us all up to speed, this is where we are. Canva is a design powerhouse, and it is a powerhouse in the generative AI game. Their user base is massive. Like we talked about, almost every large company in the United States reportedly is already using Canva, and they just rolled out some amazing generative AI features that cover the multimodal that we're always talking about. So text features, photo features, video features, animation, the whole suite, right? But why aren't we using it? Why aren't we talking about it more? Let's jump in. Let's jump in, shall we? Let's take a look at some of these new features in Canva and talk about them quick. All right, so let's do it. So again, if you're joining us on the podcast, I'm going to be sharing my screen. Don't worry, I'm going to try my best to describe everything that's going on. Okay, so the new Magic Studio updates covers a lot, right? So I believe that there's actually 10 either new or updated AI features. And again, in our episode last week, we went over quite a few of them, but not all of them were released yet. So a couple that I want to highlight here are Magic Design, which is the ability to, with a text prompt, create any type of design, any format really, right? Which I think is very, very impressive. And then we have Magic Design for presentations. So that is, again, using a text-based prompt to create a presentation. So, if you think of your traditional PowerPoint, your pitch deck, whatever it may be, to create an entire presentation with a text prompt. Then you have Magic Design for video, which I think is a great feature. And we're going to try to go over most of these features very quickly here. And then we have Magic Write. Okay. So Magic Write with the brand voice, I believe is one of those Canva features that people aren't paying attention to. And I'm wondering if it has to do something with the user experience, because I think with all of these generative AI models, the chat GPTs, the Google Bards of the world, Microsoft Bing Chat is, users have been quickly have learned how to interact in this chat-based user face, right? Where we have a little text box, we put something in, we hit enter, and we wait for, the generative AI response. And that's not necessarily how Canva's generative AI and how their Magic Write even works. So that could be one of the reasons maybe it's not getting the shine or the attention that it probably deserves. All right, and then a couple other more transforming or content transforming features is you have Magic Switch, which is the ability to kind of change even what your design is. So let's say you start a design as a square 1x1 Instagram post, and then you can turn that into a document, or you can turn that into a 16:9 presentation. Okay, so that's the Magic Switch. Then we have Magic Animate, which is, again, with text prompts, being able to animate different images on your Canva design. We have Magic Morph. I played around with this a little bit. So that's the ability to transform words and shapes with magic, with text prompts. So if you've ever used, Adobe Creative Suite's products to, morph photos and objects, again, this was a pain point for me as someone that's used Photoshop on and off for 20 years. I've wasted many, many hours doing a lot of these features now that Canva does pretty quickly. And then last but not least, we have turning ideas into images and videos with Magic Media. So Magic Media is essentially a text to image and a text to video platform. And you can choose different models on the front end for text to image. So you can connect DALL-E. I wish Canva would give us a little more information about, like, hey, are we using DALL-E 2? I assume they're using DALL-E 2, but DALL-E 3 is, slowly rolling out to the masses, OpenAI's image generation model. You can also, with the text to image, use Google Cloud as the text to image generator. And with the video, I don't think it's out yet. I checked a couple of days ago, but that will be tapping into Runway's text to video models. So I'm excited about that, but it also, again, begs the question: if you can tap into the power of DALL-E, Runway, all of these design features, all in the Canva platform, is this the super AI app that we've been waiting for, right? If all of these things are already available inside Canva, why are we still, looking at, ChatGPT to add feature ABC, or Microsoft Bing Chat, or Google Bard? I don't know, but let's continue to explore. Dr. Muthana says, how good is Magic Morph? I've used it a couple times. So yeah, the ability to, with text, and maybe we can do a quick live demonstration here, but the ability with text to morph, your text inside the design or your images. It's not bad. Again, I don't think this is something you would be using for, magazine campaigns, but for basic social media, for website things, for small, medium-sized businesses. I think most of these Canva AI features out of the box are ready to go, if I'm being honest. Uh, yes. And I agree with what Maybrit is saying. Sounds like Canva is becoming the Google workspace of design. Maybrit, that's a great way to put it. All right, let's test out a couple of these features live. All right, so first, let's look at Magic Write. So the great thing about Canva, and this is worth noting, many of these new AI features require a premium subscription. You get a different price whether you pay yearly or pay monthly, but I believe it's anywhere from about $12 to $14. Okay, so let's look at Magic Write. And what I kind of like about when Canva did unveil this, and they kind of, put all these different features they already had, all these different AI features they already had. They gave them all names. They put them inside of a suite. What I like is now when you go inside of Canva, you get these nice little walkthroughs that you can try it out together. So this is a way that you can try out Magic Write. So as an example, now when you click text once, when you click a text box, so you'll see if you go into edit it, and you double click and your cursor's inside the box, you're not going to get the option. But if you click once on a text box, now above, you see this thing that says Magic Write. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And right now the text just says, I just put in some filler text about Everyday AI. I said, Everyday AI is a daily live stream podcast and free daily newsletter helping everyday people learn and leverage AI. So now when I click Magic Write, I get some different options and I can continue writing, right? Which is great. Again, we're getting some basic kind of like GPT-esque large language model writing features inside of Canva. I can summarize text, rewrite, click more fun, more formal, or sprinkle fairy dust. So I'm going to just click more fun and let's see what Magic Write comes up with. So now that same text says, join the AI party with Everyday AI, a daily live stream podcast and free newsletter designed to teach and empower everyday people to make the most of AI technology. Not bad for a one-click rewrite right there. So that is the highest level overview of this feature. Obviously, I think what a lot of people will be using the Magic Write in Canva's doc. Canva's doc feature. So let's actually just go ahead and do that because I think not a lot of people are using the doc feature. And this might, especially for the Magic Write, this might be the most underutilized aspect of Canva that I think not a lot of people are using, because when you think of Canva, you think, okay, I'm creating a design, a social media design. So if I'm working with text, it has to fit in there, or I'm creating a presentation. Well, no, Canva actually has like a Microsoft Word, like a Google Doc-esque, format right here. So I just opened up a new document and it is just like using any other Word document. But then if I go in here, now I can use this Magic Write and you'll probably see the utility of it quite a little bit more. So one thing that is a little difficult sometimes, and if you're seeing live, you're probably seeing me kind of struggle with it, is especially in doc. It's in doc view, it is a little bit more difficult to pull that magic up, but it has this plus button and then it says add magic. And then you have to click Magic Write again. So, kind of the nice addition where you used to just be able to hover, that's kind of gone. So it does make it a little hard. And then you have to kind of redo this process to Magic Write. So I would like the ability in the doc to just, as an example, say continue writing. So it looks like you have to first highlight all the text and then you get that Magic Write. So let's go ahead and let's take this text and click continue writing and let's see how good this writing editor is. So just like that, in about less than a second, it went ahead and it continued writing from that original document from that original paragraph I had. So it's continuing now to write kind of copy about Everyday AI. But again, this is all made up. That's the other thing, right? Keep that in mind, right? You don't have, when it comes to the text to text or kind of the more traditional large language model text generation inside of Canva, you don't have a lot of control You do have some nice different options with the Magic Write, but you don't have a lot of control to make sure that it's accurate information. But if you're starting with bullet points, or if you're writing about something that is, quote unquote, common knowledge, I think it is a great feature, actually. Okay, that's enough about Magic Write. So let's now go ahead and look at brand voice, which is part of Magic Write. So when you set this up, you should have an option to go to brand voice. And so right now I'm sharing on my screen, which is very important. You can describe your brand's unique personality and how you communicate with your audience. So one of the biggest gripes that most people have about AI generated or GPT generated text is it sounds dull. It sounds robotic, right? And just FYI, no, there are no platforms out there that can detect AI generated content, at least when it comes to written words. People say there is, but there's not. But the trained human knows, right? You cannot definitively say this was generated with AI, but you see the patterns over and over. But that's why hopefully brand voice will be a good feature inside Canva, because you can describe exactly when you are using this Magic Write feature, how you want Canva to talk about your brand. So I think it's a great feature. All right. Hey, since we're in here, let's just go ahead and try out the magic switch button, right? So right now what we have on screen is just a basic, essentially just a presentation, but it's about Magic Write. So if I click magic switch up here, it says Magic Switch got an upgrade. You can translate and transform. So I'm going to say transform into a doc. It looks like that is the main kind of new feature. You can always resize to a different size, but kind of the Magic Switch, the big feature is to transform any design into a doc. So I'm going to go ahead and click this, and I'm going to click summary. And so we're going to turn this presentation into a document. So let's see how it looks. Again, we're doing all these things live. So if you're joining us on the podcast, make sure to click in the show notes. You can go back and watch this kind of this screen share. So here we go. We went from a document we went from a kind of a slide presentation now to more of a written document. So I kept some of the major, branding elements that were in that document, not everything, but looks pretty good and an easy way, especially if you're working on something more visual. And then you also need a complementary or supplementary document that's more in, written format. All right, let's go back and let's try some of the new features, shall we? Okay, so let's do magic design. So let's actually do, we'll do magic design. So when you try magic design, you'll see now, and I kind of griped about this in my Canva episode last week. They kind of buried this feature for a couple of months, but now it's back front and center, which I'm extremely excited about. So all you have to do, and it's kind of difficult if you're not paying attention to the user interface, it says use 5+ words to describe your design. So I'm going to say a flashy presentation about the history of artificial intelligence. All right, and I'm going to click enter. And now you'll see on my screen, yes, that's all we do, right? So now Canva is actually working behind the scenes, and it's given me now different options. It's giving me 7 different options that are essentially template presentations that go over the history of artificial intelligence. So the next time you say, I don't want to create this presentation, it's going to take forever. Well, it just took about 4 seconds. But obviously the content of these designs is more important than the ability to quickly create a template. But let's go ahead. I'm going to click on this one. So it looks like a nice little template. So I'm going to say customize this template. So now you'll see on screen what we have. I just switched over because it just kicked it into a new tab. So now we have this complete presentation, right? So we have the history. It says the evolution of artificial intelligence. And I can go in now and I can use these other Canvas features to extend on this, right? So right here, kind of the first slide. And again, is this something I would use? Uh, Probably not, if I'm being honest. It looks good, it has relevant, so it says, "What is AI?" And then there's a, photo that shows kind of a graphical illustration of machine learning, and yes, this content is technically kind of correct, so it's talking about the history of AI. It says, "AI refers to the simulation of human intelligence and machines that are programmed to think and learn like humans." It's like, "Okay, yeah, that's right." But again, it's not the most polished design right now. It's not the best text, but also I mean, what can you expect from an 8-word prompt and to be able to create actually, pretty impressive. This is a 7-page presentation from a couple of words in a couple of seconds. So obviously, if you want to use this feature inside of Canva, you probably just shouldn't use this as is, but it's a great way to get you a professional looking template with content already in there, and you should go in there and update it. But what you can do is you can go in now and use the magic write, and you can just say, continue writing, right, on this text. And there we go. We have a whole nother paragraph. All right. So let's go ahead and look, while we're even in here in this presentation, let's look at some of the other AI features inside of Canva. So if I click edit, okay, and what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to bring up a different one here. So now I have a photo, and it's a illustration of a hand kind of drawing different things on a board. So I'm going to click edit photo, and we're going to look at some of these new different Magic Studio features within this presentation. So we have background remover, magic eraser, grab text, magic grab, magic edit. So let's go over a couple of these, and I like these. So let's look at magic eraser first. And y'all, I cannot tell you how good the magic eraser is inside of Canva. I used to spend countless hours inside of, Adobe tools, Photoshop, Illustrator, whatever it may be, just erasing things. Because when you erase an object in a photo, you have to make sure that the background fills in correctly. So, you'd have to use all these different tools, the heel brush and, spot, I forgot all the names of them, but there'd be multiple different tools, and it would take a long time to kind of erase something or replace something and still make it look good. So let's just go ahead. Let's just try something here. So I have the magic eraser. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to erase this kind of arrow, this last arrow here. So all I do is I click this magic eraser. I'm going to click this last arrow there. It's going to process. It's going to take, let's see, 2, 3. How many seconds do we got here? Not a lot. All right. This is more than when I played with this over the weekend. Obviously, sometimes when you do these things live, it takes a little extra time, but there we go. So, okay, it did take maybe about 8 to 10 seconds, but it did an amazing job, because even if we zoom in there, this background that it kind of replaced something, the background has a slight gradient. So Canva's AI did a great job of, when I erased an element, it did a fantastic job of not making it show, right? Really, really good. All right, so now let's use maybe one other. I like the magic edit. So the magic edit is similarly, you can do a brush, and you can select something, and you can at the same time delete something and add something in its place to make it part of the design. So again, this is going over the history of AI design. We have all these little circles that have years. So I'm going to highlight one of these circles with the magic edit button, and then I'm going to click continue, and then it says describe your edit, and I'm just going to say a green balloon. All right. So we're essentially replacing a circle with a number, and we're just saying, hey, give us a green balloon. So this is something, again, as Canva improves their technology, I think these, being able to edit all of these things specifically without having to leave the program, that's such a huge benefit. Because right now, one of my kind of personal gripes with generative AI systems is they all kind of work in silos, right? They all kind of work on their own. So this is great that all of these things work inside of Canva by themselves. So we're done now, and we have kind of 4 different options. And mixed results on this one. So you can choose the 4 different green balloons. We kind of only got 1.5. And one of them kind of looks like a watermelon slash bowling ball. One of them kind of looks like a green balloon, but it has a red balloon behind it. But regardless, I think we just showed some very powerful features of Canva's new Magic suite right there. We looked at the Magic Write. We looked at being able to create a presentation with just text. And then we looked at using different AI elements within Canva to instantly improve. So I want to, before we wrap up, I want to make sure I get to a couple of your questions and maybe a hot take or two. So it looks okay. Yeah, Brian says it looks like we have a spammer here today in the comments. I'm sorry, y'all. All right, so let's get to the questions if we have any. Okay, so Ben says Canva versus Microsoft plus Copilot. That'll be a great combination, Ben. Yeah, I'm extremely excited to see how the world of work changes once Microsoft Copilot starts to roll out in November. It should be pretty interesting. Okay, Jay, thanks for joining us. He said similar to some of Google Photos features they announced. Yeah, their new hardware and kind of some of their software, amazing stuff. He said it seems to fill in the background better than Google's current Magic Eraser. Yeah, and I did all of these live, y'all. So results are always going to vary. And, Canva just released all of these features less than a week ago. So I do see them improving over time. This is, like I said, a lot of these different features have already been kind of behind the scenes, right? Many of them, but this is the first time that they're all out kind of in bulk, right? So actually, just real quick before I wrap up, two other things that I kind of teased at the top of the show, so I want to make sure to get to them. Canva, if you go over here on your left side, there should be a tab called Magic Media, and that's where you get the text to image, which I think is, again, being able to have that inside of Canva is pretty amazing. I'm just going to say Benny the Bull walking down the street in Chicago, cartoon style, right? So I'm from Chicago. Benny the Bull is the Chicago Bulls mascot. So let's see kind of like what images we can get. So having this all on one platform is fantastic. The videos feature. All right, cool. Let's bring this up. This is pretty good here. This Benny the Bull cartoon style. So not bad. So we do have the text to image and the text to video. It's going to be slowly rolling out. I think some people have access to it, but the ability then to essentially work in dolly modes inside Canva, and then to, if you are working on video, the ability to work with runway inside Canva. Smart move by Canva, not trying to go off on their own and try to compete in an area, rather partnering with Runway, which is the leader, I say, by far in generative AI video creation. So text to video, photo to video, the ability to have that inside of Canva, I think, is potentially a game changer. All right. Jacqueline says, this is super cool. Thank you, Jacqueline. Naisani says it will be beyond interesting. Thanks for joining us as well. Microsoft Copilot will be transformational. I agree. I can't wait. I got to get my hands on access before. So when it rolls out, we can walk you all through it. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this was a helpful look at Magic Studio. So as a reminder, if you're joining on the podcast, I did an episode last week before all of these announcements, preparing you all because, like I said, some of these features were already individually available, but this new Magic Studio release brings all of these features kind of together in one platform. So here's my hot take, y'all, and I'll leave you with this. I don't know why we're not talking more about Canva's AI features. My guess is it's the user experience, because for whatever reason, for better or for worse, us humans, when working with Gen AI models, we've kind of been trained and we've started to build skills in more of a text to text relationship, if that makes sense. So, as an example, Chat GPT, Cloud from Anthropic, Google Bard, Microsoft Bing Chat. All of these models, we're used to just having that chat interface, that left and right, back and forth, like you were in a text message or in a text thread inside of an email. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that's one of the reasons why Canva's new AI features aren't, taking over the internet. But I think they eventually will. I do foresee Canva making some improvements to their Magic Studio suite. Again, this was just announced, so I do see, as the text to image models, hopefully get upgraded to Dolly 3 if they're not already, as you see the runway text to video come inside Magic Studio, as their Magic Write tool and their brand voice tool become better and more flexible, and hopefully they tweak and improve some of the user experience elements, because right now I'd say that's the only reason right now. Canva has a beautiful and easy to navigate user interface, but us users out there, we are so programmed now to work with Gen AI tools all the same way. So that, I think, is kind of the hurdle, I think, until people start, maybe ditching some of their other subscriptions, because you might have 3, 4, 10 different Gen AI subscriptions. So you might start to, ditch some of those and to start bringing it inside Canva's Magic Studio. All right. I hope this was helpful. Hey, like Tanya said, she said, "Thank you. So excited. I feel like I'm in on a secret." Kind of, Tanya. That's what we do here at Everyday AI. We don't give you old news. We give you the news as it happens. We break things down for you live. We go over the pros and cons. We don't lie to you and say this is the best thing since sliced bread. Also, what was before sliced bread that made sliced bread so revolutionary? Just regular bread. But yeah, Tanya, this is, I think, something, Canva's Magic Studio, something that not a lot of people are talking about. Maybe people are already using it because, like we said, Canva has 135 million users. 85% of the world's 500 largest companies use Canva. So maybe everyone's using it and no one's talking about it. Let me know what you think. Appreciate you all tuning in. Can't wait to see you back for another episode of Everyday AI. Thanks, y'all.